And Tom, if you would please read the notice about the meeting.
Recording in progress.
So there's a recording in progress. I think you have to hit accept to keep with the meeting. So the November 2nd, 2021 public meeting of the Falmouth Planning Board shall be physically closed to the public and will be conducted via Zoom at 4:30 p.m. Alternative public access to this meeting can be provided in the following manner. The meeting will be televised via Falmouth Community Television. Real-time comments can be addressed to the Planning Board utilizing the Zoom virtual meeting software for remote access. This application will allow users to view the meeting and send comments or questions to the chair via the chat function. Submitted text comments will be read into the record at the appropriate points in the meeting. Zoom login instructions are below. Additionally, public comments may be sent in advance of the meeting to the planning at Falmouth.gov at least 5 hours prior to the beginning of the meeting. Documents and audio files may be submitted via email. Submitted email comments and documents will be made part of the meeting record and may be read into the record, summarized, or displayed during the meeting at the discretion of the chair. Applicants and representatives and individuals with enforcement matters before the planning board may appear remotely and are not required to be physically present. Applicants, their representatives, and individuals with enforcement matters before the planning board may contact the planning board to arrange an alternative means of real-time participation if unable to use the Zoom virtual meeting software. Documentary evidence and visual presentations should be submitted in advance of the meeting at planning@falmouthma.gov so they may be displayed for remote access. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, the agenda for this meeting doesn't include time for public comments, and it appears from the list of participants on the Zoom software that we do not have any members of the public attending. So we're not going to do that. This agenda has a single item on it, and it's for the planning board to act on an article for the town meeting. It's a continuation of a public hearing, and I think that we can, if there is no further need for the comment to be made for the public hearing, we can close that. If we could have a motion to close the hearing.
Madam Chair, we do have Bob Ament in the audience as well.
Oh, did he just join?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I was following. Okay, then. It's still, we have not closed the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak? I don't see Bob Ament's hand up.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you need a motion to close it?
I think I would like a motion to close the hearing.
Okay, I will move that we close the public comment part of the hearing.
Second.
All in favor? And I think we need to vote one by one. John? John votes aye. Bob?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the public hearing is closed. And now we can move on to a board discussion of the motion. And that motion is whether or not we're going to recommend Article 6 for the November 2021 town meeting. I think we could begin with reading the motion and then have the discussion go. So Bob, do you have a copy of it? It's in the warrant article. If you've got one. If you don't, I have. Okay, then let me read the motion. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Chapter 240, Article 1, through Article, what do we got here? 20, I think it's 49, by adopting the recodification of the existing zoning bylaws as shown in a 155 plus page document entitled Zoning Bylaw Town Code, Chapter 240, Articles 1 through 14, October 2021, on file in the town clerk's office the planning office and the Town of Falmouth website, and it gives the address for the Town of Falmouth website. The recodification of the zoning bylaw is a reorganization and renumbering of the current 95-year-old bylaw with some deletions in order to address several points: structure and organization, clarity, conflicts and inconsistencies, obsolete and or missing terms and language, conformance with state statutes and current case law, and administrative issues, or do or take any other action on this matter on behalf of the planning board. And the recommendation by the planning board is printed already, but we are now going to move on that ourselves. So any discussion on that motion?
That's not the motion.
Excuse me?
You read the article, not a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I move that we approve recommendation that we approve Article 6 for the November 2021 town meeting.
I second that.
All in favor?
Well, I don't know, Charlotte, if any of the board members, because we got some new information, if any of the board members, because there were a few of us who were at the working group, but there may be questions from the other board members.
Okay, Pat, we were both there and John Drewley
Right.
was there.
True.
Would you like to recap what happened there?
We went over the Article 10 in great detail. We really didn't touch on anything else. And Article 10 is the nonconformities. And I'd like to point out that this was part of the contract that was originally put together by Brian Curry, our former town planner, that had to be paid special attention to with the idea that it be really worked on. This article was drawn from all over various parts of our planning of the bylaws. It was a very difficult task to do. And also it was difficult prior to this you just couldn't bring it all together. You were hop skipping all over the place. So the consultants brought it together. And there was, Bob Ahmet had volunteered to do a redo of it from the bylaw to just bring our current bylaw to bring over everything from that current bylaw as it was written into the new bylaw and to do away with what our consultants had put together. Charlotte pointed out that in essence, there really was no difference in how it would function. I think I'm accurate on that. Am I, Charlotte?
Yes, there was some discussion on that point, and I asked, did people see, the people who were there, which included people who are here on the screen now,
Mhm.
would it make a difference in practice adopting the new one? And the consensus was, no, it would not, with one exception, and I don't know if you want to deal with the exception now, Pat.
You can go ahead and deal with it if you like.
Okay, we did, the reason we were coming to that conclusion was two things. First of all, there was a procedural reason that we felt that making a last minute change before town meeting was not a good practice. And we all felt that quite strongly. Second, people concurred that there would be no difference in practice between the proposed one, which updated and corrected to state law, and the stripped down one, which included only our current bylaw, with one change. And that change we actually agreed to make. And the change is on legally non-conforming use. The proposal had said, no non-conforming principal use shall be extended. That was a mistake. And we said, that is a mistake. That shouldn't say that. It needs to be changed. And it has been changed. In fact, it's been stricken from the proposal that will go to town meeting. So that's the change that was made. It was pointed out by Bob Ahmet. Bob Ritchie, I believe it was, agreed that it was a change that we did not want to make. It was a mistake and we corrected it. Other than that, the working group yesterday decided to bring to the board today the Article 10 that in fact we have been looking at now for some time. So I hope that that's clear. Are there any questions about that? Tom?
So if I may, just to clarify that change, so the statement, no non-conforming principal uses shall be extended was stricken. And the second line was amended and now reads, a non-conforming use may be extended or changed to another non-conforming use by special permit, and goes on to read as it did before. So we've incorporated that a non-conforming use may be extended or changed in the bylaw. There were also a couple of minor formatting issues where we had a couple of extra Fs in some things and one internal reference to the document that were also changed. All those changes have been made. They have been posted on the town's website. They have been posted in the printed documents in the planning office, in the town clerk's office, and at the Falmouth Public Library. Thank you.
John?
So does it read, interpretation read that the use can be extended only with a special permit or can be changed with a special permit?
It reads a non-conforming use may be extended or changed by a special permit with the ZBA.
But if there isn't a special permit, the use continues on.
Yes.
Per council.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions or comments? Pam? You have to unmute.
That you just can't have a non-conforming use. You can't do anything that would make it more non-conforming. Is that correct?
Yes,
I believe it's correct.
if I can continue reading the rest of the clause, if you'll give me just a moment. So the clause in its entirety reads, a non-conforming use may be extended or permitted, may be extended or changed to another non-conforming use by special permit, provided that the permit granting authority finds that the new use is not substantially different use and not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use.
I think that's a very difficult to understand change, because if you make enough changes to, it's in very, I don't know how you do that. So I'm not being very articulate. How can you make changes and know that it's going to be less non-conforming? Because you can't make it more non-conforming.
Pam, the purpose is to keep the bylaw as it was. So however that can be done, and you point out something that there may have merit to it, but however it can be done, it's how it has been done up till now. It's not changing.
Yes, and if I may continue that, so that is the role of the Zoning Board of Appeals in looking at legally non-conforming uses. It is that permit granting authority, the ZBA, it is their judgment based on testimony they received during a hearing that use, that new use is not substantially different nor more substantially detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use. That's the role of the ZBA.
Frank?
Okay.
Yeah, these are decisions the zoning board of appeals makes routinely all the time. I really don't think we have to worry about the zoning board of appeals is pretty skilled at doing this, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope that it's Bob.
So is everybody here on board with these changes? Because there's been a motion, it's been seconded, and now we're going through the discussion. Do any of the other attendees have any comments to make at this time?
John?
I think the one change we made yesterday was the correct one to make.
Any of the other participants? I don't see any hands up.
Okay, because it looks good to me.
All right, then the sense of this, are we to go ahead now and take a vote is to approve the entire recodification, including the Article 10, as proposed. So if that's understood, let's vote on that.
Well,
You saw Bob Ahmed's?
yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Tom answered it, that the hearing is closed, and so there is no public participation.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I think we got Bob Ahmed's participation. Thank you, Bob. It looked as if he was signaling us with his hands. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
John? Bob,
Aye. John Drewly, aye.
Jim, Pat, Pam? Pam?
Aye.
Yep,
Bob
Good.
Leary, aye.
aye.
And may I add a special thank you to Bob Ahmed for taking the time to go through this? And I think there has to be an understanding too, that if this is passed by town meeting, this is the first step. We will be continuing to work on the bylaw.
I second that. And of course, we're going to be asking town meeting to approve funding so that we will be able to continue the work on the bylaw. And now we can begin, in addition to corrections that may be needed, additional ones, we can continue to make changes. And a number of changes were proposed by people who are asked to comment, and they didn't restrict their comments to just making it without change, but changes that would be useful. So we have a good starting point on that. I think we have concluded our agenda for this meeting. Our next meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, our next meeting is going to be November 9th, and all in favor of adjournment.
Aye.
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 Bye.
And
Aye.
thank you to all of you, Noreen, especially Bob Ahmed, the two Bobs, to Frank, to Rob Duggan. Thank you very much for your work on the recodification. It'll be such a relief when it's passed. Let's hope that it is.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.